to Kids Rock, where we're connecting God's house to your house.
So go grab your Bible, notebook, and pen and get ready
for a word from God.
Come on, put them together tonight.
And welcome to week 4 of the Fab 5 series. During the Fab 5, we're looking at 5 fabulous prophets from the Old Testament. A prophet was someone that could see into the future. God would show the prophet what was going to happen, and then the prophet will tell the people what God showed them. Today, we're going to hear about a prophet named Jeremiah. God sent Jeremiah to the 2 southern tribes, the nation of Judah. But like a lot of the prophets, Jeremiah didn't have a whole lot of luck turning the people back to God. Talking to the people of Judah was kind of like this.
Hello, my name is Jeremiah. How are you doing today? You must didn't hear me. I said, how are you doing today? Can I at least get a high five?
For Jeremiah, talking to the people of Judah was like talking to a wall. Nobody will listen to him. Nobody did what he said. And because of that, he suffered the consequences big time. Are you ready to see what happened in our true story? All around the borders of Israel and Judah, powerful nations are rising up and looking for new lands to conquer. Because of their sin, the nation of Israel has already been conquered by their enemy. And now the evil Babylonians are looking to conquer God's people in the nation of Judah. There's only one thing stopping them. The king of Judah has agreed to remain loyal to evil Babylon and pay them money in exchange for peace. But the king of Judah is getting tired of paying. And now he's talking with other nations about going to war with the powerful Babylonians.
God has other plans though. He sends a prophet named Jeremiah to confront the king of Judah. When Jeremiah shows up, he's wearing a large yoke on his neck. A yoke is a wooden beam that farmers put on the necks of their oxen to control the powerful animals. Unfortunately, Jeremiah is alone in his warning, and no one will listen to him. Even when Hananiah dies 2 months later, the king of Judah doesn't want to believe Jeremiah's prophecy, so he continues to conspire with Egypt to wage war with the Babylonians. When the enemy king of Babylon hears about the conspiracy, he's quick to attack Jerusalem, just like Jeremiah had prophesied. The only things that keep the Babylonian army from a swift victory are the giant walls surrounding Jerusalem. While the walls hold the Babylonian army at bay, the soldiers of Judah search for Jeremiah. Even though it's the sin of the people that has caused this calamity, the people of Judah call Jeremiah a traitor and blame him for all of the bad things that are happening. When the soldiers find Jeremiah, they grab him, throw him into a dried up well, and leave him there to starve. What a huge bummer. Jeremiah tried to warn the nation of Judah for 40 years without any success. It was like talking to a wall. Can you imagine how frustrating that must have been? Actually, it was more than frustrating. It was sad. That's why Jeremiah is known as the weeping prophet. He had so many things to cry about. In fact, Jeremiah wrote an entire book of the Bible called Lamentations. The entire Lamentations comes from the word lament, which means to weep or cry.
Let me see if we can come up with all of the reasons that Jeremiah had to lament. What are some reasons that he had to lament?
He had a lot of reasons, honestly. I can't name one.
Jeremiah was discouraged. No matter how hard he tried, nobody would listen to him. He was lonely, everyone had turned their back on him and deserted him. He was in trouble. The soldiers falsely arrested him and threw him into an empty well. Worst of all, he was devastated. The nation he loved had been destroyed and the people had been taken away. Jeremiah must have felt like he was being crushed with sadness.
When we feel overwhelmed by sadness, God is close to us. This glass is kind of like God. The glass is clear, which reminds us that God is invisible. We can't see him, but he's always there. The glass is also strong, which reminds us of God's strength and power.
I know a glass in this throne.
If I were to put my foot on top of this glass, when we feel like sadness is pressing down on us, God is close. Okay? So when I put my foot on top of this glass, God is holding us close. And when sad things just keep on happening, God saves us. When Jeremiah felt sad, God was right there with him. He kept Jeremiah from being crushed by the sadness. And he gave Jeremiah hope that the sadness would one day pass. And do you know what? God does the same for us. It's okay to feel sadness. And it's okay to feel sad. Just know that you're not alone and that God will save you from being crushed by the sadness. Know that you can pray to God and ask him to help you find joy again. And the best of all, know that for those of us who follow Jesus, God has promised that one day we will live with him forever in heaven, and there will be no more tears or no more sadness.